Okay, so today we're talking about share your page like a pro. Most people think about once they've created a booking page and shared the link, the job is done. But in reality, treating your booking link as a one-size-fits-all URL means leaving some of your most powerful growth and service levers on the table. When we look at high-performing teams, sharing is no longer just a utility. We think about it as a strategy. On the sales and marketing side, it's about precision, using UTM parameters, hidden fields, and tracking to know exactly which campaign or channel is driving your revenue. And on the customer experience side, it's about frictionless service, using personalization to make your guests feel recognized rather than just another entry in the database. To walk us through how to bridge that gap and start sharing like a pro, I'm joined today by OnceHub CEO and founder, Rami Gorali. Rami, welcome.
Thank you, Aviram. Thank you very much, and thank you everyone for joining me today. So I assume you can all see my screen, and I'll get started. So today we're going to talk about everything you need to know about page sharing. It is quite a lot. We will start by discussing the different ways in which you can share. We will cover links. We will cover sharing phone numbers for phone booking. We will talk about sharing QR codes and also embedding pages. Then we'll talk about tracking the booking source. We'll do that with UTMs and hidden fields to understand exactly where the bookings are coming from. And then we'll talk about personalizing the guest experience. We will see how to leverage static and dynamic personalization to create seamless booking journeys for the clients. Okay, so let's talk about the 4 ways to share. The first way to share is a link. We all know the booking page link. It can be shared as a standard link, or it can be parameterized. We'll see all that. Then there is embed. There are a lot of new developments coming from the AI direction that make embed very attractive. We will talk about them. There is sharing a phone number. If you want to get bookings through the phone, it's very useful when you can't answer the phone, you're in a meeting, and the phone agent can answer the call for you and take the booking. And we'll see the QR codes. QR codes are the bridge from offline to online. We'll see how that works. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is dive into the product. And I want to show you all these sharing tools that I was talking about. So I'm currently in the booking calendars lobby. And if I go into the settings, we have here the page designer. So the page designer is where we design the booking page that is shared via the link. This is the link here. And here below, show your page, we have all the tools we need to share. We can get a QR code. We can do one-time use. We can do personalization and tracking. Currently, we don't know what these are yet, but we're going to explain them. So this is the page designer. This is what you see is what you get editor, and these are all the sharing options. Then you have the embed. So here you can embed the booking page. This is the booking, the interaction pane. You can embed it either in line or in a light box that will open upon a click. And here there's a very, very big opportunity with AI and vibe coding. So before AI, you would embed the booking page in your website. So you first of all needed to have a website, and it needed to be a worthwhile website. And then you have to embed the page. You have to design a page where this is going to be embedded. And sometimes even you need to get approval, and you need IT to help you. So it's a big, heavy process. Now with vibe coding, it is very easy to just take the code. So you can take the code, you can give it to a vibe coding app like Lovable, and you can tell the app to create a landing page with this booking page embedded. So this is what I'm going to show you today. This is what I did. I did this with Lovable. It's a vibe coding app. And basically I gave it the code and I say, create a landing page where I can provide a second opinion service to optimize your wealth strategy. So very simple, it took exactly 2 minutes to give it the embed code. So basically, instead of having to embed the code, to go to the website, to try and find where exactly you put the code in the header, now you just give the code to the AI, you tell the AI, build a page around it. So like the page is a wrapper around your booking calendar. So that's a very, very big development, and it's going to make the embed much more popular. We believe we're already starting to see signs of this. So that was the embed. Then we have the phone agent. The phone agent allows you to take all the settings that you have in the booking page, and without any additional setup, basically all you need to do is assign a phone number, and then people can call that number. What you can do is, if you're busy, cannot answer the phone, you automatically forward to that number, and then that number can greet the person that's calling and take the booking on the same settings that you have in your booking calendar. So these are the sharing options here. And if we go back to the lobby, here we can see for each booking calendar, there is also a share button here. So you don't need to go into the settings. And this is the shareable link, and this is the website embed. So everything is also available here. Okay, so let's go back to the presentation. And let's start the first part. The first part is the booking source. How do we track the booking source? Like Aviram said, this is very important for marketing and for sales and for anyone who is who gets enough booking that they forget where they're coming from. So why is it important? First of all, you will know which efforts are successful. If you're paying for traffic, you can calculate the ROI. It also gives you context for follow-up communication. If you need to reach back to someone who made a booking, it's important to know if they booked because they saw you in a seminar or because they read your post on LinkedIn, for example. And it also helps you evaluate A/B testing options. So if your booking page is embedded in a landing page, or if you have a certain call to action, you can evaluate these and optimize accordingly. Okay, so to understand campaign tracking, we're going to talk about 3 scenarios. These are scenarios related to financial advisors. And I know many of you here are financial advisors, but even for those who are not financial advisors, I believe that these scenarios will be relevant as well. So the first scenario is going to be a physical seminar. So during the lecture, the financial advisor includes a QR code on a handout, so attendees can schedule a discovery call. That's this first scenario. The second scenario is the LinkedIn Thought Leadership post. An advisor posts an analysis of the latest Fed rate hike with a link to get a second opinion on a portfolio review. And the third one is the webinar email follow-up. An advisor sends a follow-up email after a tax planning webinar with a link to book a one-on-one session. So we're going to analyze each one of these cases, and we can see the different ways in which we can track the bookings from them. So just before I start, we're going to be first tracking with UTM parameters. What are UTM parameters? It stands for Origin Tracking Module. That's a historic name. Basically, these are tags that are added at the end of URL to track the performance of marketing campaigns. They look something like this, you know, source equals Google, medium equals CPC, campaign equals spring sale. So it's pretty simple. And let's start with the first scenario. So reminding again, this is the physical seminar. So during the lecture, the advisor includes a QR code on a handout. So this is the QR code. Imagine it's on a handout. And what an attendee can do is scan it with their phone and then open the booking page to make a booking on their phone. In this QR code, we have some URM parameters. The source is the Chamber of Commerce. This is where the speaking is taking place. The medium is the QR code, and the campaign is the March speaking event. So I'm going to be cheating now. If I scan it on my phone, you will not see anything. So I'm going to click it. And imagine that this was for my phone, and this opens up the booking page. So this is the booking page, and you can see, I'll just increase this here. So you can see the booking page is OnceHub.com/HenryIntro. You can see the question mark, and after the question mark, we have the UTMs. So campaign is smart speaking event. This %20 basically is a space. It's a way to designate a space. The medium is QR code over here, and the source is the Chamber of Commerce. So this is it. These are the UTMs. So the UTMs, besides being in the URL, the guest does not fill them, does not know anything about them. If I'm going to make a booking, let's say I want to make the booking online on the 28th. So I don't see these UTM parameters anywhere. I can add my name. This is the name, this is the phone. What do you like to discuss? Potential customer. Okay, I'm going to schedule. Okay, so that's it. The booking is made. Let's go into the user side now and click on activities. Okay, so this is Gloria Guest. Sorry, that wasn't the latest one. I have many of these. Yes. So this is it. That's a potential customer is like what I would like to discuss. And you can see here in UTM tracking, the source is the Chamber of Commerce, and the medium is the QR code, and the March speaking event is the campaign. So basically what happened through the URLs, the UTMs came into the activity stream, and they're available to the user, but the guest does not see them, does not fill them at all. So now that we have UTMs, we can report on them. That's the benefit. It's very easy to report. If we go to the analytics and we want to filter by UTM parameters, let's say we want to filter and see all the ones that came from a QR code. I can just write QR here. And let's see them by meeting date in the next 30 days. Okay, so I can see I have 13 meetings that are going to be taking place. These are future meetings that will happen in the next 30 days. They all came from the QR code. So it's very easy. Once you use UTMs, very easy to see where the bookings are coming from. I can also save this as a filter. So for example, here, I saved this as a filter already. So these are the 13, and there are two other scenarios. The Fed rate post also brought in 13, and the tax planning webinar brought in 12. So I can very easily compare different campaigns and see the bookings that they bring in. Okay, so that was a very efficient way to track using URM parameters. But what do we do when we have a need for more tracking than just UTM? Like the biggest need is the A/B testing, when we need to A/B test. So with that, let's jump into the next scenario, and that's the tracking with hidden fields. So just to remind, the LinkedIn Thought Leadership post, it's an advisor that is posting an analysis of the latest Fed rate hike with a link to get a second opinion on a portfolio review. So we are going to use here UTM parameters. The source is LinkedIn, the medium is social, the content is Fed rate analysis, but we also want to A/B test. Why do we want to A/B test? Because here we're using different landing pages, and we want to see which landing page converts the best and brings the most bookings. So you can see this is the link. The link here is not OnceHub. This is a Vanguard second opinion, lovable app, because what I did here is what I was showing you before. I took the booking page and I embedded it in a vibe coding app that created a landing page for me. So then we have the UTM, these are the yellow, and the orange is the parameter for the testing, for the A/B testing. This is the A version. So let's click on it. And here is the page. So this is the landing page. It was created in 2 minutes, like I said before. Let's make a booking here. You can see before I make a booking, you can see here, these are the UTMs, and you can see the A/B test, A version. So it's all here in the URL. And let's make another online meeting. So I want to do a portfolio review. And you see, because this field, A/B test equals A, this field is a hidden field. It's not on the booking form. It doesn't exist. So it's like UTM in the sense that the guest never sees this field, but it does pass through and it comes to the user side with all the meeting details. So I'm going to schedule this. Okay, and it is scheduled. Now let's say that I want to check another version, and what I want to do here, I'll just increase this so you can see. I've created another version with a lightbox. So I'm calling this a lightbox, and here instead of A, this will be version B. Now I'll refresh the page. And here is version B. So you can see version B. And let's click on the lightbox. And now it's a lightbox. Let's make a booking. And the call will be by phone, and I'll schedule. Okay, so we've made a booking, one from version A, one from version B. Let's go back to the user side, to the activities. Okay, we refresh, so the latest come in. So we have this one, which was version A. You can see the A/B test field is here. The guest didn't see it, but it's here, it's version A. And the second one is version B. And they also have the UTMs. And this one also has the UTMs. So this is how we can combine both UTMs and hidden fields to go even deeper with the tracking. And you can have more than one tracking field, so you can get very, very granular in terms of how you track the bookings. Okay, so
Rami, maybe before we go to personalization, we also wanted to show in the form itself how we add the hidden field.
Yes. Thank you for reminding me. Yes. How do you create a hidden field? Thank you. That's very important. So I will go into the booking calendar setup, into the introductory call, and on the booking form. So this is where you can add fields. You see all the fields. You can just drag it basically, but one of the fields is a hidden fields. So I've already added it. I've added it here below. I mean, it doesn't really matter where you put it because the guest never sees it. You can see that it's hidden. And we can see the field name is A/B test. I've also mapped it to an object property, to the meeting object property, so I can use it in other booking calendars. But it's that simple. That's it. That's all I need to do. So that's how I add the hidden field, and I can add additional ones if I want. So thank you, everyone, for reminding me to show that. Okay, so we've covered tracking. Let's talk about personalization. So personalization is important for two reasons. One is it improves the guest experience, because what we're doing here is we are pre-filling the information in the booking form so that the guest doesn't need to spend time to type it. So that's like a concierge service for the guest. The other big benefits is that we are ensuring that all activity is under a single contact record. If we have a customer that one day schedules with his work email, the other day schedules with a Gmail email address, then we want to see all their activities under the contact record, but actually what's happening is that they created two contact records and then we need to merge them. We can do that, but if we just want to get it right from the beginning, we dictate the email address for them. They can change it if they're so adamant, but once they see a default, they're probably likely to accept it. I mean, if we don't want them to change it, we can also hide it, but that's even a different story. So that's basically what we do with personalization. There are different ways to personalize. The simplest way is to personalize with static variables, where the variables are just part of the URL, and that's done in a very simple way. Let's go back to the scenario number 3, the webinar email follow-up. So the advisor sends a follow-up email after a tax planning webinar with a link to book a one-on-one session. So that link in the email, the link to schedule, has a source of a webinar follow-up. It has the medium of the email. The campaign is the tax planning 2026. And now we're also adding the parameterization for the guest name and the guest email. And you can see it here in the URL. In the yellow part is the UTM parameters, and the orange part, these are the personalization variables. Sorry, one second. Okay, I'll click this email. So let's look at the URL over here. And we can see this up to here, it's the personalization. Up to here, all this is the UTM, all these are the UTM, and from here, it's the personalization, the name and the email. So that's the URL structure. And this time, if we book, so we do see the data filled in. So we see the name, Gloria Guest, and we see the address, and we could have filled in also the phone number. I mean, whatever data we have, we can parameterize it, and then it will be available over here. So this is the very simple way to do it with the static variables. And in order to make it easy for us to do it, if we go to the sharing pop-up, here you can click on personalization and tracking. And what you can do here is you can define the UTM parameters. So for example, we can say that the source is the Chamber of Commerce and the medium is the QR code and it's the March speaking event. I mean, we can add all the UTM parameter stuff and booking form URL parameters. Here we can see all the fields where we can add parameters to pre-fill them. So I can say Gloria Guest, Gloria meeting guest at Gmail, the email, the phone number. I mean, it doesn't make sense to fill in this one, but you can fill in whatever you want, and even the A/B test here you can fill, but that's the hidden field. But basically you can fill everything, and then you can download it as a QR code, or if you click on it, then of course it opens up, and you will see the details here. Here we also see the phone number that's being pre-filled. So this is a very easy way to pre-fill with the static variables. But the main use case for this scenario when you send emails is not to use static variables. You want to use dynamic variables. So what are dynamic variables? Dynamic variables are basically variables that get values automatically and add the value for each customer. So this is almost always done in marketing tools, CRM tools. What you can do is you see these curly brackets. Instead of adding a specific name, when you send the email from a marketing tool, you can add dynamic variables here. So customer first name, this %20 space, customer last name, and email is the customer email. So these are dynamic fields. And whenever an email goes out to a customer, the marketing system knows to replace the dynamic field with the actual field of the customer. And we do this in the email that we send to invite for the webinar. So I'll show you how this works. So this is the email. So for example, this is an email that I sent to myself. It was sent from the marketing automation system. When I click on Save the Spot, you can see that this link, I mean, it's a bit hard to see, but when I click on it, what it does is it opens the webinar registration page. And here we see the UTM parameters, and we can see also my name. You can see my emails. And we can no longer book here because the webinar time has passed. But you can see how these parameters are automatically populated dynamically from the email marketing system. So that's how it's typically done. Typically, when you send emails from marketing system, it's using dynamic variables to personalize. Now, the next thing that we can do, so if we have all the dynamic variables and we don't need to ask the guest any question at all, the best thing to do is to skip the booking form. That's the least amount of friction when making a booking. All you need to do is pick a time. That's it. So you pick a time and schedule, nothing else that needs to be done. So let's see what we need to do to enable that. So I can go back to the share pop-up here. I'll click on this. So let's add everything. Let's add the UTMs we did before. Let's add everything here. I'll just add this. So everything is we know the question, we know the answers to all the questions. And if we check this box, hide pre-filled questions from guest, and it says here that if all required questions are pre-filled, the booking form will be skipped entirely because there's no use showing the booking form when there's nothing for the customer to provide input about. So let's see how this works. You can see a very long URL here, very long because it has a lot of variables. Everything is here. And basically, I can pick a time. Okay, this was because of the location. Let's do it again. I'll select online because online there's nothing to choose from. And this will book it immediately. Yep, that's it, it's booked. It's booked. So if you need to select a location, for example, then it will ask you to select it, of course. But if there is nothing to select, nothing to provide, then it will completely skip the booking form. And this is what happened here in this case. So if you need to remove friction and just make it as easy as possible for people to book, that's the way to go. Okay, one-time links. So that's another important item that you should have in your tool bag. Maybe for financial advisors, I don't know how many times you would need to use it. Maybe if you're offering like a free consultation and you don't want people to abuse it more than once, you can use that, for example. But in other domains, it's also used quite a lot. Basically, the booking that's good for one time, the link that's good for one booking only has a code. It doesn't have a link that someone can reuse, and this code is automatically generated for every booking. So let's go to the same page, to the same pop-up we were in before, but this time we will click on one-time use. So the booking link will expire after the first booking. So now we're using UTM, and we're using personalization, and we're also using one-time links. So we're using everything we can, and you can see here the link. I'll just make it bigger. The link is not the same as it was before. It's not Henry intro, but it's this code. So I can only make one booking. So let's make one booking, and we will use online. Let's do it here. Last time for the day. So that's it, it's done. So we skipped the booking form, and now we want to do it again. We cannot. The scheduling link is no longer valid. So that's it. That's one-time links. Okay. Next topic is the browser extension. I see that we don't have a lot of time. I'll go through this quickly. So the browser extension, basically, as its name implies, it's a browser extension that lists all your booking calendars and booking hubs and gives you quick access to all your links and allows you to quickly personalize them and create one-time links from them. So it's available on the Chrome Web Store. So we talked about this. So let's see this. Sorry, not this one. This one. So this is a browser extension. I can retrieve it from here. And here I can copy the link. I can copy a personalized link. And I can very quickly personalize it with static variables. Like if I want to add the guest name and the guest email. And I can create a one-time link as well. What you can also do with this extension, if you are using Gmail, then what you can do is you can personalize in a dynamic way using the email address of the recipient. So for example, if we are here and Gloria receives an email, we need to have a follow-up meeting about your portfolio. Please let me know when we can meet. So Gloria can say, sure, please use this link to schedule. Yes, so use this link. So what we can do, use this link to schedule. We can put a link here and now bring up the extension. And if we click on personalize, I'll just do this again. Yeah, you can see the link is already personalized. It's already personalized automatically because it's taking it from the recipient email, name and email. It's taking Henry host and henry.host@OnceHQ. So I can send it back to Henry. When Henry gets it and clicks on it, they will be able to see that their name and email has been already entered into the booking form. So that's the browser extension. Maybe one last slide that I want to finish with is some tips for tracking bookings from a profile. I know many of you have some profiles. I mean, we can look at the email signature as a profile. We want to have a booking link in the email signature. So the best practice is to add your source email signature and medium email to this. So when you get bookings, you know that it is coming from there. If you're using Google Business, same thing, add the source Google Business, Medium Web. If you're using LinkedIn, to add a button, a scheduling button, you need to have a LinkedIn Premium for that, but then you can also use source LinkedIn, Medium Social. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rami. And that was a really fantastic deep dive into the how and why of professional sharing. Before we wrap it up, we wanted to get a pulse on how the demonstration landed. So we prepared two quick poll questions regarding what Rami just presented. I'll start with the first poll. This is really about sales and marketing attribution. And what we're trying to understand is how important is it for you to track the specific source, such as marketing campaign or specific social channel of every booking you receive. So let me launch this poll. Give it like a minute or 30 seconds. Okay, maybe 5 more seconds. Yeah, and I'll end this poll. So here, the vast majority of people responded is somewhat important to me. And we're happy to see that. I think that those features that Rami demonstrated today are definitely geared towards the more sophisticated user. And we think that it could bring a lot of value to many of you that using OnceHub. So the fact that most of you at least understand that it's important to track source, that's great to see. Okay, I'll move to the second poll, and this is about high-touch customer experience and how often do you need to use personalization. So let me run the second poll. Personalizing the guest experience is important for most of my bookings. For some of my bookings, not relevant to me. Good. Yeah, maybe 10 more seconds. I still see answers coming in. And I'll end the poll. So that's interesting. By the way, for not relevant to me, we had 0 responses. So I do agree, personalizing the booking link, definitely in a service business is important. So the majority of people said that for most of my bookings, it's important to personalize. And I think that's a best practice whenever client experience is critical. So thank you for participating in that poll, and it was good to see your responses. With that, Rami, we have just a few more minutes, and we'll move on to the Q&A sessions. Actually, we didn't get a lot of questions today. I think that in past webinars, we got many more questions, so maybe the demonstration was very, very clear. I'll try to take some of the questions. So the first question was, can we apply UTMs for the APIs? And that was for a use case if we reschedule cancel via the API and not the booking form, can we retrieve the UTM in the webhooks? So I think that the answer to the specific question is no, you cannot get the UTMs through the APIs, but this is why there are differences between the UTMs and the hidden fields, because those you can get through the API. I'll definitely follow up with the person who asked this question for the specific use case and see if we can help on that.
You can mimic the UTMs with hidden fields.
Yeah. The question, there was another important question, are embed website links tracked? Yes. So that's the answer is yes. And again, there are different ways to track, but I think that this is really what you demonstrated. Yeah, that those can be tracked.
Yeah, tracked in the same way as the booking page itself. Everything is tracked. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I see more questions are coming now. Is the Chrome extension OnceHub for Gmail? Yes, the Chrome extension is called OnceHub for Gmail. Yeah, we encourage people to download and try it out. Maybe last question before we wrap it up. Can we simply add our client gets from the backend instead of having to impersonate them from the front-facing app? I must admit that I'm not 100% sure what is this question about, and I'll follow up with the person who asked. Yes, and I think that this is what we had for today. So thank you again, everybody, for the participation. We'll share the recording with everyone registered, and we welcome you in coming webinars. Thank you, everyone.